Good evening, YouTube or BookTube. This is Johnny. Thought I'd make a video. I wasn't going to make a video, but it's here in West Michigan. It is a Thursday night. It is going on 8 o'clock at night here in West Michigan. And I was not going to make a video, but what I was going to do is that today I got in the mail Allen Ginsberg at Reed College, the first recorded reading of Howl and other poems. As you all know, I'm a collector of the beat literature, Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, William Burroughs, people like that. So I got this in the mail today, and I got my Howl collection out. I thought about making a video, then I thought, who's really interested in Howl by Allen Ginsberg? Who's ever read it? I haven't come across anybody in BookTube the last 5 years that has mentioned Howl but I have mentioned that when I was in seminary, let me see, I have my timeline here. I was at Reformed Theological Seminary from 1983 to 1986. I graduated and we moved to Houston, Texas in November, I think, of 1986. And we moved to Jackson, Mississippi in the late fall of 83. The boys were really little. Josiah and Caleb were just little boys. Beth had not even been born yet when we moved to Jackson, Mississippi to attend Reformed Theological Seminary. So then, when I was in seminary, I saw Allen Ginsberg at a small liberal arts black college in I think it was May of 1986. He signed my copy. And he drew a little flower. See the flower he drew? He signed my copy of Allen Ginsberg. So yeah. I had this for years. My edition, I think, came out in 1974. As you all know, I lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, Richmond, from about 1968 until I moved to go to Reformed Bible College in 1978. So I was there about 10, 11 years. I was born in Oakland, California, but growing up I lived all over the United States. But anyway, this is Howl, the other poems by Allen Ginsberg. Introduction by William Carlos Williams. I just showed you, I just got a used book of William Carlos Williams poetry the other day. And then I have this edition of Howl. This is the 50th Anniversary Edition of Howl by Allen Ginsberg. Original draft, facsimile, transcript, variant versions, fully annotated by Allen Ginsberg with contemporaneous correspondence, account of the first public reading, legal skirmishes, precursor text, and bibliography. So yeah, this came out in, what year did this come out? 1986. I probably bought this when we were, I don't know, I must have bought it back in the late 80s. And then talk about legal skirmishes. There's this book, Howl on Trial, A Battle for Free Expression, edited by Bill Morgan. Bill Morgan is a beat scholar, by Nancy J. Peters. This is the legal battle against Howl, because when Ferlinghetti, who just died the other day, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the poet, who started City Lights Bookstore in San Francisco, he died at the age of 101. But you can see him here in the front here. Right there is Ferlinghetti when he was quite young. But now this is the legal battle, because when he published Howl, it was when his first pocket book, he was taken to court and arrested for pornography, that it was considered pornography, and then there was a legal trial, and it's all about that. And this is a book on Howl, American Scream, Allen Ginsberg's Howl, and the Making of the Beat Generation by Jonathan Ranskin. This is the best book looking at Howl, looking at analysis of it, interpretation. It's one of the best books I've read on Howl and Allen Ginsberg. I highly recommend this book if you're into. It's called The American Scream. It's really a great book. So, and then I brought up the Allen Ginsberg box set, Holy Soul Jelly Roll, Poems and Songs, 1949 to 1993. This is 4 CDs of his recordings. So I just thought I'd show those. Maybe you're not interested in those, but these are good books if you want to look deeper into Howl. It's considered one of the great poems in American poetry, but everybody has their own judgment. And but he sold millions of these. So, but it's one of my favorite poems. So yeah, I got the first reading. This was done in February 14, 1956 at Reed's College, Portland, Oregon. So I got that. So I was going to put those downstairs. I thought, well, I might as well show them in a video. I got them out. I just thought I'd show them in a video. And I'm into Allen Ginsberg and Kerouac. I have Kerouac on the poster up there. You can see him. See that poster up there? Anyway, that's Kerouac on the wall there when he was younger. And I've shown you the books I have in here by Kerouac in my main study. So besides that, today I did get vaccinated. Carol and I went and got vaccinated this morning. I'm on page, tomorrow I'll be on page 206 in my 2021 paper diary. I went yesterday, my wife and I, we did go to Grand Rapids. We had to pick up our taxes, and then we went to Reformation Heritage Books. My wife wanted to pick up some extra copies of a women's Bible study on Romans, the Epistle of Romans by the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. She needed some more copies, and they're the ones who published them, Reformation Heritage Books. And so we went there, and I hadn't been there in years, and so I went with my wife. I was very brave. It was a really nice day. It was sunny there in Grand Rapids, and we had a good time. And I bought some books. I bought all these books at Reformation Heritage Books. And I could have bought a lot more, but I restrained myself. I hadn't been there in years, and they had grown so huge, and they had run out of space, and they had bought this building in Grand Rapids that they were remodeling, and they're going to move in there into a bigger space in a regular bookstore. So Carol and I are going to go to the grand opening sometime in the spring or summer. But I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books, which I will show in a future video. But tonight I just want to show you about Howl, Allen Ginsberg, the great poem Howl. We all know how it opens up, the Howl. Howl for Carl Solomon. Part 1, I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves to the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix, angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry domino and the machinery of night, who poverty and tatters and hollow-eyed and high sat up smoking in the supernatural darkness of cold water flats floating across the tops of cities contemplating jazz, who bared their brains to heaven under the L and saw Mohammed angels staggering on tenement roofs illuminated. So that's how, and this is the first reading. Now, I can't document this, but this is supposed to be the first reading of Howl, February 1956 at Reed College, Portland, Oregon. I did read some of one of the books I got at Reformation Heritage Books yesterday. I got this Concise Reformed Dogmatics by J. Van Gurnian and W. H. Vermel. This is translated out of the Dutch. This is a current thing. This is by Garrett Bykes and E. M. Van der Meijs. So, as you all know, I'm into Reformed dogmatics and theology. So I was reading this today on the God Reveals Himself. So I was reading that. That's about all I read today. I can remember. I can't remember reading anything else today. So I just thought I'd stop by, show you my collection, Howl, the poem by Allen Ginsberg, one of America's poets. And like I said, when I was in seminary in Jackson, Mississippi, I went and heard Allen Ginsberg at a poetry reading at an all-black college, and he signed my edition of Howl, and he drew a little sunflower. I have photos. I showed you the photos. I had taken a camera with me and had people take pictures of me and Allen Ginsberg sitting next to one another, and he was very gracious, and he didn't smile, but he didn't say no, and that was very nice of him. So I shown you those photos when it was a very hot night there in Jackson, Mississippi, and there was no air conditioning in this. It was in an old black church, and he was up on stage with his accordion, and he had this black guy accompany him on a guitar, like blues kind of thing. It was kind of crazy. And but I always wanted to see Allen Ginsberg, and so I went and saw him when I was in seminary. So thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments, and I'll show you all these books. Oh, this is one of the books I got at Reformation Heritage Books. This is the one I read today, this morning. Psalms of Faithful, Luther's Early Readings of the Psalter in Canonical Context by Brian German. I got this because, you know, I've been reading the Psalms, and this is on Martin Luther, one of the Protestant Reformation, and when he was lecturing as teaching the Bible, he went through the Psalms, and this is a book looking at his hermeneutical method and contrasting it, looking at, you know, he was an Augustinian monk, and then he came to a saving knowledge of Christ and started the Reformation. But anyway, this is on his hermeneutics, how he interpreted the Psalms, and how he, and in lecturing it, how he had this kind of breakthrough. So I was reading this. This is today, when I was getting vaccinated. I had to wait for 15 minutes after I got my shot, and then I read this in the mornings and the afternoons, and then the last thing I read was this, Concise Reformed Dogmatics. So yeah, so I was reading this, Psalms of the Faithful, and this is by Brian D. German. So once again, I'll sign off. I'll download this. This is a Thursday night. Now it's 8 o'clock. I don't know if I'll do a Friday reads. Maybe I'll make a video this weekend showing you the new books I got. So until next time, bye. I hope you're all doing well, that get vaccinated, wear a mask, practice social distancing, pray, read the Bible, seek the face of God, read the Psalms, and check out Howl by Allen Ginsberg. Until next time, bye.